the show for the Monday Night Football or anything. All right, let's talk about one more before we take our commercial break, and that's going to be the Saints and the Vikings, both 5-4 this week. Both are, if the playoffs were to start today, both would be in the playoffs as well too. You got a spread of +2.5, over under 41, and you know what? Let's go ahead before we get into this. Shout out to MF and Josh, MF and Dobbs. Jeez Louise, man. What a performance. What a way to win a game. And that was what I would call a Steve DeBerg special right there. They used to call Steve DeBerg up on Tuesday for a team that needed a quarterback immediately, maybe for a week or two. You call Steve DeBerg up. Steve DeBerg comes and plays for you Sunday. You win the game by 6-7 points, and then he's cut on Tuesday. But Josh Dobbs is fortunate enough to where he's still going to be on the team for the rest of the year. But Jeff knows what I'm talking about. The old Steve DeBerg special right there that they did, and that's who he's looking like a lot now as well too. Kind of gives me little shades of Vince Evans as well too, the former LA Raider. So he's a gamer. He's a guy that really was able to get the team behind him very quickly. But you know what though, the other guy, Jared Hall, he looked like he was going to have a big day as well too before they knocked him out the game, because y'all got to remember he is the quarterback after Zach Wilson, who was really good at BYU as well too. You know what I mean? That's why the kid was picked in the 5th round. And, he knew the playbook a little bit better. But, Atlanta's just a bad team in general. So that's why those things didn't work out for him. But this game right here, the Saints are really a different type of group this year, Jeff. They're weird. They win the first 2 games, then they go and lose 4 out of 5. Now they've won 2 games in a row, okay? And they seem to be picking on the bad teams, and then they're not doing anything against the better teams, the good teams. You know what I mean? And I just really feel like it's the offense that's so inept that keeps this defense so active, and they keep them on the field a little bit too long. So you don't really know how these games are going to go with the Saints, because Derek Carr really does not have the trust of that group. You can see it week in and week out that they don't like him. And they don't really care for their coach that much either. They just are talented players that have been put together in, an array. You're calling for Jameis Winston every week, and it seems like Taysom Hill is the guy that keeps putting you over the top, putting you ahead in games. So they're kind of stuck with the quarterback that they have, and you can't really trust a team like that. But in this situation right here, they've been playing some of their better football as a group after losing to Jacksonville the way that they did. Minnesota is coming in here as a team that has won 4 in a row, but the 4 in a row are against teams that they were supposed to beat. And, they're a pretty good road team this year as well, too, but they're a bad home team. They got 1 win at home. That's it, Jeff. 1 win at home. They're 4-1 on the road. So it's hard for me to trust Minnesota in the spot with Josh Dobbs, second week out. You're going to get some much better defense. Well, Atlanta could argue a little bit and say they might be right there with the Saints, but let's keep it real. The Saints got better playmakers on their defense that can impact this game. So what I'm going to do here, Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and take the Saints with the -145 to win this game straight up. I don't trust them to cover in this game, but I do trust them to win this game late. Even though Minnesota's won 4 in a row coming in, they haven't really had to play against tough teams. They won games that they were supposed to win. So now they got a game that shows exactly who they are as a team. It doesn't matter if Kirk Cousins or Justin Jefferson's here. Let's see who you are as a team, because you guys seem you have the next man up mentality. So let's see if you really truly have the next man up mentality. I like the Saints. I'm taking them -145 because I think that this game is them winning by at least a touchdown or better.
As you started the conversation here, hats off to Joshua Dobbs. Think of it this way: you're in Cleveland for the preseason. Their playbook. Obviously, you get traded a week before the season starts. So now you got to learn the Arizona playbook, and then on Tuesday you get traded to Minnesota and have to learn their playbook. So 3 playbooks in one season. The guy's a genius. He gets called into action, not only keeps him competitive, but finds a way to win the game late. and which could actually speed up the recovery process of Justin Jefferson. That's for a whole nother show. Their bye week is 13. So I don't know if they wait to 13 to see what their record is. He's playing for a contract, doesn't need to get hurt. He's done everything that he needs to do. I personally think we knew Kirk Cousins wasn't going to be there next year. My gut tells me they'll make an offer to Jefferson. I don't think it's the money that he wants, and they'll build around TJ Hawkinson. They'll build around Jordan Addison, and they'll figure out the quarterback situation. But my true number was Saints -0.5 with the 38. Actually, a 39. The public has pushed it to 2.5 with a 41. I bought the hook. I took the Vikings to +3. I think the first team to 21 or 23 wins this game. I think the resurgent Vikings, Joshua Dobbs, the potential of Jefferson coming back in a couple of weeks, I think takes them over to the promised land. Not sold on check down Charlie and Derek Carr. Olave, who I love Olave, Michael Thomas, who he is what he is in Kamara, and then, of course, the circus with Taysom Hill. But give me the Vikings +3. I like them to cover, but deep down, I'm really rooting for them to win and get to 6-4, Pops.
Right. You like me last week with them in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Just the same exact thought process, Hey, you know what? These guys are playing good football as a team. Let's not worry